Beats have been discovered to be a great form of transformation for most people with a dark past. The idea of creation with beats and sound is what makes shadows from the past disappear. Faisal Kiwewa, a 31-year-old with so little known to him about his parents, is the director of the Bayimba Cultural Foundation. I'm glad you decided to join me on yet another exciting episode of Life Stories. Today I bring you a gentleman who decided to venture into arts and culture at the time when society saw it as a failure. Today he stands as the founder and director of Bayimba Cultural Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Faisal Kiwewa. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
I'm really glad I met you. I've been hearing a lot about the Bayimba and everything. I'm glad I finally came to meet you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Yeah. Tell me a bit about yourself, especially to the viewers who are watching you for the first time. Who is Faisal Kiwewa?
My name is Faisal Kiwewa, and I was born in 1983 in Kibuli Hospital.
Okay.
And I was born to my parents, who kind of were both in different relationships, so they could not take care of me.
Oh dear.
And then I was adopted by my adopted parents, like guardians. So I grew up in this kind of royal family of one of the wives of Kakungulu. So and that's where I get my royal names, and which is kind of fascinating for me these days. When I'm stuck, I can say my name is Kiwewa, and I say, oh, sir, and you offer your seat.
A nice one.
Yeah.
Life for Faisal has been complicated, as he almost had no idea on who his biological parents were until he turned 11. When did you find out that the person you're living with is not your biological mother?
It was a time, I think, around that age of 10, 11. And when it was a little bit weird also, the way the setup was. That's why my childhood is a little bit funny. My biological mother used to rent on one of the apartments of my guardian mother as a tenant. And the apartments she was renting on were given to me as my kind of income as a child. Okay. So I was responsible for collecting, revenue
from your mom.
Yeah, but I didn't know. I mean, there were more. Yeah. There were like 6 of them.
Ah, okay.
So as a child, she wasn't always paying. As a low income, average Ugandan anywhere. So I always had trouble with her, paying, and I always went to her. Oh, can you pay when I paying? This kind of thing. So one time, there was a lady who lived across, and then she came and asked me. So I had gone to ask her, oh, when are you going to pay your money, your rent, because it's due, whatever. And then the lady was seated across. My mother didn't say anything, I think. Then this lady was seated across, came to me after I was walking away. And then she asked me, do you know who you're talking to? And I'm like, yeah, tenant. She's not paying her rent. And she was like, no, that's your mother.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, I know my mother. She's in the big house, because they were staying in the other houses and staying in the big house. And she was like, no, this is your mother. So it was kind of like, oh. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know what to say, and I was small, and it was kind of like, what can you do? I was like, oh, I didn't know, so I'll find out. And then I went and asked my mother, my guardian mother, what the story was. I mean, she never allowed these kind of discussions, and she wasn't a woman where you could just go and say, hey, why did someone tell me that? This kind of thing. So there was protocol, respect, and certain discussions were not discussed. So I could not read directly and ask her, why is this going on? But I found some time and I talked to her, and she told me that's not true, you're not allowed to think like that, and it's not your choice to think, you know, that's your mother. And I think she got also furious with her. How did you find out, and why did you tell him? But I think both of them had their own way of communication, which I never understood. Because if you give birth to a child and you give them away, and then you're renting on where you gave them away, it's kind of weird for me. I mean, I could not understand.
She should have been a bit far.
Definitely. And for me, that's why it was difficult for me to live with any of them, because I thought that these are two women who knew each other very well. And I kind of recalled it all the time. I saw them, they were talking to each other as like, you know, oh, auntie or senga, this kind of thing, but yet they didn't have any relationship. So it was very challenging, and for me the best way to get out of that mess was to be free of these two people, and that was the kind of decision, I think.
Did you ever go and talk to your biological mom and ask her about her being your mom before you decided to run away?
No, I don't think so.
So when you talked to your guardian mother, and she told you you're not supposed to talk about this, that's what you just decided to run?
I mean, it took me some time.
Okay.
Because I didn't know what to do, and as a child of, you know, 11.
But you never 13. Thought about asking her, your biological mom, about it?
I didn't know, because there was no really connection, and I could not just go and attack her, like, you know, why didn't you tell me, or you know, start. I didn't know what kind of discussion. I think my mind or my brains that time were not really prepared for any kind of engagement.
The shocking discovery of how his mother was a woman he had only known to be a tenant to his adoptive parents drove his emotions to a self-discovery journey that saw him to the streets. As part of his mission, Faisal managed to find his father, a meeting that quite didn't yield as much. He then understood he had to make it on his own.
When at the age of 13, I kind of ran away from home because I felt like, you know, it came about when I realized that my parents that I was living with were not my real parents. It kind of, you know, I was living this very luxurious, you know, good life, and then I found that my mother wasn't really that well off, and kind of it didn't go. I didn't like that, so I felt like I'm not the, you know, that's not my real life that I was living then. So I moved on, and I said I want to be myself. I want to find myself, and I didn't want to leave my mother still, my biological mother, because there was no connection at all. So I just went. I left home with nothing, and I lived on the streets for a few days, and then I went. I found my grandmother, who was the mother of my real mother. I lived with diabetes. So in that process, I was really mobile. I didn't have a home. I didn't have a place. I was just living with people. I don't know how many families I stayed with. I could hang out for 2 days here, and they chase me. I go 1 month there, and they tell me, oh, we are tired of you. Can you find somewhere else? I lived somewhere for 6 months. So that's how I grew up. And it was kind of fascinating, because if I look at it back, I really think that my upbringing is not someone's responsibility, but a collective of people.
Of people, yes.
Who have really been so kind to kind of make me who I am today. And the schools, of course, I started with the police. I started my primary at Police Children's School here in Zambia. And I was there all my primary. Then after that, I ran away from home when I finished my primary. So I went and I studied in Mbarara. Okay. And for 3 years.
How did you go to Mbarara?
Because I was running away from home, and I didn't want to have any connection with the city, with Kampala. When I was doing my O-level, from S2 to S4, I didn't have money. And I was struggling. I could go to my grandmother's and ask my aunties to give me some money, but still it could not be enough. So I had a deal with my head teacher, and I told him, you know what, I can't pay, but I need to do this study thing. Yeah. And then he was like,
study thing.
And he was like, okay, but you have to pay something. So I told him that I can do anything he would like me to do. And then he told me, can you play football? And I'm like, I did it in primary, but maybe, I'm not sure now. And then he was like, yeah, if you can play, you can get into the school team, then you have a 70% off your school fees. Because they used to have those bursaries for footballers.
Yes.
So I joined the school team, but then I didn't have the 30% to add on to the fees. So I told him, what else can I do? And he showed me, if you can, we have these school holiday trainings, like holiday studies. So if you can cook for them, I mean, you can have a free schooling.
Wow.
So I was a chef and a footballer, and then I could pay my tuition.
Yeah. That is really great.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel guilty of ever running away from home? Put in mind, these are the people who got you from where you were, from both your parents who were not able to raise you, and decided to take you into their arms and raise you like their own. Did you ever feel guilty?
I've never thought about it that way, because, sometimes as children then, as a child then, I feel like my parents had everything they needed. Money, people, staff, helpers and all that thing. So it was not a home where like, oh, someone is missing. We were at least minimum 30 people at home a day.
Oh.
So there wasn't really a kind of a feeling that, oh, maybe they had.
Yeah.
Definitely they loved me so much. And I can't doubt that. But still, it didn't feel like a place for me anymore. And I think, yes, my mother must have been hurt. And I'm sure, yeah, if she was alive now, I don't know what I would have told her.
Oh, she passed on?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And your father?
My father is a nice guy. He died in 2000, I think 3 years ago. I really made it a point when I was 20 and to meet him. I asked my biological mother, because that time I had grown up and I'd come back to the city, so I knew where my mother is. I could go and visit her, sometimes live with her for some time. And so, who is the guy? and then she was like, yeah, I don't think it's a good idea. It's like, why is everything always not a good idea?
Yeah.
So like, it's not a good idea, but if you're interested, of course, you can see him. This is where he lives. I said, okay, fine. So I walked. That time I was studying music, I think. I walked from school and I went to find his house. He lived in Nalukolongo, near Sembule. Actually, they are neighbors with Kenul Chams. Yes, they lived around each other. The first day I walked and I stopped at somewhere. I could not find the house. So the following day I started where I stopped. And the first house I stopped at was his house. And that was fun because I met my stepmom, his wife, then, and she was seated there, and I said, "Hi, I'm looking for so and so." So then the lady was like, "Oh, yeah, this is his house. Like, is he in?" I said, "Yes." So I said, "Okay, come in." So I went inside in the sitting room. He was seated on the couch, and then he asked me, "Oh, okay, who are you? How can we help you?" And I'm like, "My name is Faisal. I'm coming from Kibuli." Like, "Kibuli where?" "Oh, this place." And like, "Oh." Oh, I didn't think I ever existed, but that's not the point. I'm not really blaming him. For me, what was kind of shocking was for the reaction of like, "Oh,
okay."
I'm like, "Oh." There was no kind of like, "Wow, nice to see you, great, you've grown up," the way people really are excited about things. But I was like, "Oh, okay, fine." And then we say, "Okay," we looked at each other and then we said, "Can we have a drink?"
Wow.
So we went and had a drink. And that was it. I tried to see him again before he died. And I felt like, yeah, he took me around to show me his properties and stuff and told me, "Oh, this is yours." And I'm like, "Really? You didn't know me? How did you keep it?"
Yeah.
But then I'm like, so it was like that kind of trying to make up things. And I felt like, no, this is not my thing. It's not my place. I'm happy to see you, that you're alive. But unfortunately, he died. And I wasn't around when he died. I came and I was told. And when I went to see them, to visit his burial grave, and then they had some family meetings and stuff like that. So that was it. And then I told them, "I'm good. It's good that you're all fine. So you don't need me anymore."
Do you have any siblings between your mom and dad? As in same mom, same dad?
No, no.
It's just you?
Yeah.
And your mom, does she have any children?
Yeah, she has a lot of them. I think like 6, 7. We don't have this kind of, you know, family fever of like, oh, we have to know what you're doing or things like that. We meet when we meet. Yeah. Then my dad's side, I think I have like one of my sisters, my stepsisters. She's really caring and trying to find out whether I'm fine. She comes to the festival to have fun, which is nice. Cool. I like it when she comes and she enjoys it, like, wow, this is great, and things like that. I've done so many things, you know, from studying, I could not complete school. I didn't have money to, you know, to go to university, but I went there and I was there for a few days and I'm like, oh, can I afford to be here? So these kind of things, and I went and studied film production. I worked in TV, I worked on radio, I've worked in, you know, in real film companies, and I realized that I needed something for me, something that I can really benchmark on. Yes. And I really, as a child, when making decisions, everything, whether it's good or bad that I've done, it is entirely my decision. I didn't feel comfortable being employed all the time. I never got employed, actually. Maybe once. I got a job as a barman. I was a barman for my studies. And
where was that?
That was recent, actually. No, not recent. 2004 at Stakeout. I was because I was really struggling. I mean, as I said, I was trying to find something to do. I didn't have money to survive. So I worked in Munyonyo as a waiter, and then and after that I worked at before it was UBC, it was UTV then in Nakasero.
Yes, yes. From school to a barman, then to TV, and you're transforming things. How did you do that?
No, I was working in a bar at the same time studying film.
The idea to come up with a foundation was not an easy dream to realize. Talking about the festival, the Bayimba Festival and the foundation at large, how did you decide to do this? When did you decide? What pushed you to say, okay, this is my dream, this is what I want to do?
I think it was this whole story of not knowing who you are and trying to kind of find a place for you, a purpose. And I know everyone has a story, but you also have to find sometimes strength or weakness in that story that you carry. And I think for me, that's where the Bayimba idea comes in.
However, his visit to Arusha to film a documentary had opened his eyes on how hardly people knew each other.
So I've been really stepped on a bit. And like, I'm tired of this. So I left and went to work in Arusha. Working with the East Africa to work on the documentary, and this was also where we were documenting the lives of people who live around Lake Victoria Basin. And the founding of Bayimba came from that, because I used to see all these families from Mwanza to Kisumu to Jinja, Port Bell, all living on this lake, sharing so much in common as fisher people, but knowing so less about each other. And that was the idea of finding Bayimba. Yeah.
Very amazing and inspiring indeed. We'll go for a short commercial break, but when we return, Faisal will be telling us how he chooses the people on his team and the challenges he faced as a youth. Do not go away.
I don't market the festival to the whites. Never at all. It's 2,000 shillings. If I really wanted white people, I know they can afford.
2,000?
Yes.
Welcome back from the break. If you just joined us, I'm with Faisal Kiwewa, the founder and director of Bayimba Foundation. The idea of using art to unite cultures, but finding people to believe in his concept was no easy job. Nonetheless, that didn't stop him from pursuing his dreams.
It has been a real struggle making people understand. First of all, the whole idea was to make people understand that the arts and culture are relevant and important to humanity. and to our lives.
Yeah.
And we all know that whatever we do, whatever we live on, it's about the arts. But also at the same time not ready to accept that fact. So it makes it very difficult to convince people of something that they are already convinced that is not worth, spending time or investing in. And that is a journey that we've been on and we're still on, and I think it will take some time to get there. And it's not only Ugandan challenge, but also across. But the other thing was also people looking at me like they first asked these questions of like, how old are you? Like 25 then. I'm like, oh really? So you want me to give you 50 million? Yeah. Then they look at you, what kind of shoes you're wearing. They look at which car did you come in.
That's so bad.
Definitely. And trust me, that's how it works. So someone to give you 50 million, and I could really feel, I could understand them. Maybe they didn't see that Bayimba what it is now. Yeah. And you could not really tell them. I've seen all this, and for me, what has really helped the foundation to grow, the festival to be relevant, is to keep that consistency, to keep that focus, that we are not going to be stepped on. And someone has to stand out to do something that is not necessarily to better themselves, but for a common good. And I think that's the challenge that many people face. At the same time, you don't blame them because everyone has challenges. They have so many problems, family, money, and all these things. But if we all worry about our problems, then the world will never be better.
What other challenges have you faced in this field, which historically is viewed as time wasting?
When you look at the artists now, Uganda is very vibrant when it comes to the arts.
Now?
Now.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, because now you can find, and it's shocking that you can find that on one weekend there are so many events happening. Because we're operating in an open market, so everyone is doing things, which is really good. But when we started in 2008, we had 2 bands playing for every artist that was programmed. And for me that was not possible, because every artist who could go on, let's say Maurice Kiria or whoever, they had one soul beat. And we're like, if the idea of the festival is for people to perform their music, to perform live music, and that's why we programmed this festival. So we decided then that if we need the festival to be around for the next 5 years, we need to invest in arts education.
Yes.
We need to invest in training artists, musicians to be good performers, to perform their music live, because everyone could come and you could see people line up. Oh, my CD, I came, I'm ready. I mean, are you on the program? I mean, this was the idea. Yeah. They come, line up, they're not programmed, they want to perform. But we needed to create some discipline and also create some sort of like understanding that, yes, you can do what we want, but the festival is a festival. And we've also invested a lot for the past 3 years. I think like we've invested around 900 million, more actually, like 2 billion in hip-hop education. Because also this whole movements of Luga flow, Luso flow, the Lugba flow.
You also have Lugba flow and Luso flow.
Yeah, we started that with all those movements in the north. So the idea was like, okay, Luga flow is working well. How can we interest others in Karamoja? If you listen to the music that comes from Karamoja, from the rappers, you'll be like, wow, they are really good, but they don't have no one knows that they exist. Everyone fears to go there. So we go there, and now at the moment my team is in Kitgum. They are really working and producing young rappers there. So that is one of the biggest challenges, that we needed to invest in artists, and we've done that for the past 7 years.
And what made you persevere?
Yeah. I think it was the whole idea of if you want to do something, definitely it has to be based on a certain structure, and with the way the donor world operates. And by that time, I didn't know what donor things were about. But for me, I just wanted to start, and I started, and I could put in everything I had, every money I could make, all my savings. I wanted to buy a car then, when I had a box of money that I wanted to buy a car. So I started picking on that, investing in the foundation. And for me, it helped to create a structure. And that structure was able to help me to create, to spread and be able to justify my existence at the foundation and bring other people on board, because you could not just tell people come and work with me as who. You needed to have some sort of governance and understanding and some rules that govern you, and also some sort of idea that you have to work towards too all the time.
The still young and vibrant Faisal is a husband and father. Talking about his family definitely lights up the mood. His wife and children put up for most of the time in Khartoum, as she is a diplomat.
Yeah. Hey, what is the hair?
Yeah, I've been married for not so long actually, but I've been with my wife for I think 6 years now.
Oh, okay.
And we've been together, and we have now I have 2 kids with her, and then I have my son whom I had when I was 20.
Okay.
That was like my energy time. Yeah, so we live together with the kids, and the kids are in school, and she has to work.
The field you decided to join, it's one of a kind. I've never seen it anywhere. Is this something you created from your mind, or it's something in other countries that we have no idea about?
Well, before the festival started, I spent 2 years working on what is it going to be, and that was studying whatever was happening, going to a Chigunda, going to a Chitobero, going to a Mbutu, whatever. Yeah. You see how they do things, and I'm like, I don't want to do the same. I wanted to do something different. And because by then there were not festivals, there were concerts, I think.
Yes.
Bivolus. Bivolus, yeah, something like that. So studying that, and also coming back to the uptown, going at the National Theatre, what happens at the National Theatre, because the idea of a festival works around 4 areas. I think the area of art, as in art itself, what do you mean, how do you present art in itself? The idea of artists, how do you make artists be responsible and benefit from the festival? Then the space where the festival is, how do you work with the space? And that's why when you come to the National Theatre during the festival period, it's a whole different place. You're really exploring so many different things, which when the festival ends, it goes back to its own block. And then the idea of the organization itself, the brand, building the brand. I'm very happy to see that this time when people come, they don't come to see so and so, but many people come to Bayimba. Whatever is there, they will enjoy because they know it's a good festival. So this is for me the 4 areas that we really look at and say, how can we be different? We need to focus on these areas. And focusing on those areas, you have to have a multidisciplinary or diverse program. And that's why it's kind of different from other events that are around town. Yeah. We always have like 12 to 10 days of trainings. Okay. Like we train journalists because we produce our own newspaper during the festival. Oh. So we produce 2 newspapers, the first day and the last day, for people to see what's going on, what's happening. Then journalists, we get 10 journalists, young journalists, established journalists to sit together for 1 week to create these stories in the way that they can start writing well about the art. Because we realized 3 years before when we had started that no one could write a good article about what we are doing. So if no one is doing it, then we have to train them. And we invest a lot every year, like some 20 million to train those journalists on how to write about art. And when they go back to their media houses, at least they have some kind of basic skills. Yes. And we pick also some young ones. So that is one training. We train photographers. We realized that the photos that were coming out of the festival were really, you could not put it anywhere, send it to anyone. So we needed to train people to take good photos for us. And now we train 10 people every year. And they take good photos for the festival, so you can see them on Facebook. Yes. At least you can see the quality is improving.
Yes. Or who chooses who to participate at the festival?
There's this audience that follows the festival, and we call it our experience audience. So for them, they come because they want to experience something new. And that really encourages us to find new products, new content, new productions to present to the festival. Otherwise, that experiencing audience will be kind of like oh, we saw that already. We saw that last year, or we saw that. So that's why it's always our job to find new artists. And it also feeds into our other activities that we do, like our education programs, like our, you know, when we teach artists, we train them, not only musicians, but also writers, because we do theater, we do film, we do visual arts, we do all these other aspects of art.
And that's all at the festival?
All at the festival.
Okay.
So that really gives us a chance that, you know, when people come to the festival, they are all not waiting for what is going on the main stage, but they have a chance to sit in the auditorium to watch, you know, a nice dance piece, you know, contemporary dance piece or ballet. They can watch a film, they can watch a theater play, they can, you know, enjoy poetry and storytelling and do other things. So we look out for new productions. Most of the time we commission them. At the same time, people apply.
Oh, okay.
But the reason why we look out for something, that sometimes you look at the applications and you cannot really create a festival out of it. So you really have to rely on it like 40%, then you have to find your 60% somewhere. And that's why there's always new productions which are commissioned, and not only on stage, but also in theater, in dance. Mostly dance, we commission a lot of dance, we commission a lot of theater, we commission a lot of, you know, even music itself. Yeah, but the idea is to capture as much art disciplines as we can.
And what's your target audience? Because I see a lot of white people. I think they are more interested in the arts field than Ugandans.
Very good.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what the journalists should know, that they should stop blaming me for having these white people there, because I don't market the festival to the whites. Never at all. And the idea, as I said, it's 2,000 shillings. If I really wanted white people, I know they can afford.
It's 2,000?
Yeah, it's 2,000 shillings.
Oh, okay.
So if it was really to target those guys, the festival would be at maybe minimum of 50, because I know they can afford it.
Yes.
And if I tell them to come to the festival, they won't refuse, because they like art. They appreciate it, even if it's crap. They like, oh, you know, where the level where art is, like, you can find installations of like that cable there, and an artist tells you that is an installation, and you pay $50 to see that installation. So for them, it's about the idea, and that's the challenge that we haven't explored ourselves as Ugandans. We don't appreciate what others do.
Yes.
We always want to be the best ourselves, but yet not helping our fellow citizens to be, you know, useful. Basically, I think it's the best way to use, helping others to be useful than ourselves.
His ability to manage such a team in major projects is impressive. With 15 major department heads, training is always ongoing. His reward, providing employment to the youth. When one attends the concert, there's a lot of activity going on, and there's so many people coordinating within the festival. How do you select people on your team?
Most of my colleagues that I work with, I've worked with them from the beginning, and from the finance, the assistant director, Alex, Nak, who is our logistics, they started with me in 2008, and they have always been there. So everyone has a responsibility, and from that they came to me, because they didn't come to me because I was rich to work with, or I had this big organization. They came to me when they knew Faisal is a friend, let's help him out. And then we've grown together, and we've made our mistakes and made success, and we've really grown the organization together as a team. And that's because everyone takes on their responsibility. So whatever you see at the festival has someone in heading that department, and we've divided the organization into departments. So we are 15 in total that work every day, and everyone has a huge department that they handle. That's the finance department, management, fundraising, we have education, we have media, we have artists, programming, we have research. We do a lot of research also, and you know, all these other, so everything that happens around is coordinated by those colleagues, and everyone works with a different team as well. But also on the actual festival, we work with something like 40 to 60 volunteers get help out in every area you find that there's someone doing something. And they are also trained to do that because they have to understand if someone asks a question, they are able to answer what is going on.
We'll go for a very short break, but when we return, Faisal will be telling us about his achievements. Do not go away.
This is my favorite book. It's from Gregory Richards and Robert Palmer.
I'm glad you're still watching Life Stories. When we went for the break, I had promised you I'll be asking Faisal about his achievements. Faisal is surprisingly not at all thrilled with his achievements. His measurement of success is achieving one's dream, and I imagine he had indeed achieved most of his goals and desires in life, for he intends on early retirement. On the other hand, it's evident Faisal has a great love for paintings, which are a major composition at his house. His art pieces in the space are only a confirmation for his love for art.
For me, it's more than anything. It's living your dream and following it, and that for me is the best I can say for now. Yeah.
You know why I was hesitating to ask you about achievements? Because you've achieved something that someone of 50 years hasn't achieved. Example, the Bayimba festival, it's something huge. You can't see it now, but it's something very huge.
Yeah, I think, I observe it as well, and
yes.
I'm really proud that we've got a lot of support, that we are still growing strong, and we have so many people that believe in us, and we cannot disappoint them, so
yes.
we keep doing our work. And the people who support, the team that has really made it what it is, because they work every day, they try to make it be successful. The support from individuals, donors, and the board, and all the friends. So it's a good common good, and which I find very rare as to be at the center of it.
Yes.
But what I also am very proud of is, as a person, and I think for me this is really special, is that I have really engaged with great people.
Who are these important people you were talking about?
I think we have a lot of Ugandan artists that for me, when we building concepts, it's fascinating to see how this kind of passion and enthusiasm grows. And I have to say, I work a lot with Kaz Kasosi. Is one of the greatest musicians we have alive in this country.
Okay.
And he is one of the most fascinating people when you're really trying to kind of create work and trying to think along how to build something. And all the musicians that we have been through his training. He trains them himself, and he brings others to help. We built a curriculum for artists to learn how to analyze music, read their music, listen to a song and say what kind of keyboard or what kind of instruments were used, and this is really knowledge.
There are so many youth in Uganda who sit down and think, when they see someone who's made it this far, they think of quick money. They never sit and think of, how do I work towards achieving what that person I'm seeing on TV achieved? You understand? Yeah. I wanted to give them a piece of advice.
Success is really looked at totally different perspectives. And I would say someone might say, oh, he's really great, but he doesn't have much. I think that would be they're right in that way, but for me, material, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make mean anything to me. For me, it has been that following that dream. The most challenging thing for the youth here is the level of the education they get. It doesn't give them a chance to be creative, to be thoughtful, to be idealistic, in a way that they can sometimes I look at people, you ask them, what are you working on? What are you thinking? And they're blank. And I cannot imagine being at a certain age and you're not really thinking of what can you do not only to better your life, but also to better others, you know.
What is that one thing that people should know about you?
I don't know.
There must be something you know, but you know the world doesn't know about you, but you feel proud of it.
Okay. One thing I think that is really good is that I surround myself with people that help me to do what I do. And that is from my colleagues, but also I have also my own personal, you know, strategies that when I am stuck, they tell me don't get off road. This is what you signed up to. And I think that's very important once, because there's so many distractions. And also there's also another idea that I live in this community. It's very challenging to reach, but for me it's fascinating, because every time at the moment I spend more time at airport lounges than anywhere, even with my family. The time I spend at airports is ridiculous. But the thing is that when I come back, I take a walk and I look at all these people, someone doing this, someone, and that really, even if you come up there, you come down, you realize, oh, you're back home.
Yes.
You need to do something.
Yeah.
And I know myself, my weakness is that I can be very distracted. I always need something to bring me back. And this community, these kind of things, walking, talking to people who really bring me back to reality, are the best things that I can do for myself and to keep me focused. So, I don't know, I mean, it might not work for everyone, but for me, it really helps me a lot.
What could be your plans for the future?
I'll be retiring soon from Bayimba work.
Soon? Why soon?
I think, I mean, I don't want to set a wrong example to young artists or young entrepreneurs that when you create something, you die in it. I think I've done my job. Bayimba work is voluntary to me. I mean, I don't get paid for it. And I think after 10 or 10 years doing it, I think it will be really a good thing for me to step out, maybe of the foundation. I can curate the festival, because they're two different things.
Yes.
The festival and the foundation. And I think, yes, the foundation really helps a lot where the festival goes, but I think these two bodies can work separately. So I'm soon, in the next 3 years, I'll be out. And then I'll do something for myself. I really want to do something for myself. And I want my kids to say like, oh, my dad did this, you know.
But I think this is you.
Yeah, but this is for everybody. I think they won't go and say, oh, my father is Faisal, he started Bayimba. No, that's not going to work. I want them to be proud of something I've done for them and for me. And I've not done that.
With so much said by him, I make a trip to his office to meet his family who just returned from Khartoum.
This is Safia, Edna. Edna is Safia's best friend. And this is Esther, my wife. And that's with Fahim. He likes the camera, I think. Shy. And Zerida is our assistant admin. And Brenda is our finance officer. She has never been on camera, so. So she's the one who really helps us with all the finances, cash in, and you know, financial statements and stuff like that. And this is the board chair. This is our boardroom, and we have our meetings, staff meetings, partner meetings, and negotiations here. And that's a piece from Stacy Giran, and yeah, it's kind of nice piece. And we have our antique chair. Yeah, it comes from those wheels of the old times when people used to move on horses, and the caravans, and the horse pulled the caravans on the wheels of the caravan. And I like it so much because it kind of reminds us of the authenticity of the kind of work we're doing. Our own brands, like the Dodo, we make buttons, and some activities that I was there, and then others are from projects. And I carry my phone in it and wallet. So it's kind of my easy, travel bag, yeah.
The excited father then takes me through his normal work day.
So this is how my day starts, and I come in normally here at around 7 in the morning. And first thing to do is get to my emails and try to get back to those that have been, urgent things to do. But also I normally have my colleagues when we work with, they send me the assignments every week. Each one has a day. So what I do is to make sure that I get back to them if they have any questions.
And later informs me of his love for reading.
So I read a bit, and reading is something that has helped me to grow myself. As I said, that I've not really done a lot of, certified education. So I found it important for me to best understand the kind of job I'm doing by educating myself, but also spending time reading other discussions.
On a shocking note, he shares with us his role model, a personality I would never imagine.
This is my favorite book. It's from Gregory Richards and Robert Palmer. They talk about events in cities, and as much as arts events, how do festivals contribute to cities, and how do like for example what we have here at the KCCA festival. It's all written here, and they pick because they've been following the European cultural festivals or cultural capital concept, and they really give inputs from where the concept began from and how it has grown. And I find it very useful, and I share a lot of discussions about this book with Jennifer. So we have some like, no, this cannot be done, and things like that.
Faisal Kiwewa's story is not just one that made it far, but also a person that didn't get lost in his misfortune. He battled all odds, putting his past far behind him to look forward to a great and brilliant future. This he has achieved, and so can anybody else. That was Faisal Kiwewa, the founder and director of Bayimba Cultural Foundation. You've heard his story, and I hope you've picked something from his story. All you have to do is identify your dream, follow your dream, and work hard to achieve what you want in life. Don't forget to like our Facebook page, NTV Life Stories. Until next time, have a blessed weekend.